ओम दयारस सुधा सिंधवे नमः। ओम दरिद्र धनशेवदये नमः। ओम क्षीरेन्दु स्फटिकाकाराय नमः। ओम क्षीरेन्दु मुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ओम क्षीरोपहार रसिकाय नमः। ओम क्षिप्राश्वर्य फलप्रदाय नमः। ओम नानाभरण मुग्धांगाय नमः। ओम नारी सम्मोहनाकृतये नमः। ओम नागब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः। ओम नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः। ओम मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः। ओम मूर्तामूर्तजगद्वपुषे नमः। ओम मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः। ओम मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः। ओम तरुणादित्यसङ्काशाय नमः। ओम तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः। ओम तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः। ओम तप्तजाम्बूनतप्रभाय नमः। ओम तत्तुकस्थोलसत्पाणये नमः। ओम तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः। ओम यमसंयुमसंयुताय नमः। ओम यमसंयुतसंयुताय नमः। ओम यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः। ओम यतीन्द्रोपासविग्रहाय नमः। ओम मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः। ओम मन्दस्मितलसत्त्वम्। ओम ओम मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः। ओम मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः। ओम मणिपटुलसत्कटये नमः। ओम हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः। ओम हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः। ओम हंसजप्यक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ओम हंसेद्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः। ओम मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः। ओम मेघश्याममनोहराय नमः। ओम मेधाङ्कुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः। ओम मेधापक्वफलज्जनाय नमः। ओम धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ओम धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ओम धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ओम प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः। ओम प्रकाशितजगत्याय नमः। ओम प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ओम प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ओम ज्ञानान्तरभासात्मने नमः। ओम ज्ञातज्ञातिविदूरगाय नमः। ओम ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ओम ज्ञातज्ञालिकृतागताय नमः। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ओम प्रणतार्थप्तिवाडवाय नमः। ओम भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ओम प्रपञ्चहितकारकाय नमः। ओम यत्तत्त्वमधिसंवेद्याय नमः। ओम यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय नमः। ओम यज्ञादिदेवतामूर्तये नमः। ओम यजमानवपुर्धराय नमः। ओम छत्राधिपतिविश्वेशाय नमः। ओम सत्तसामिरसेविताय नमः। ओम छन्दशास्त्रादिनिपुणाय नमः। ओम छलजात्यादिदूर्गाय नमः। ओम स्वाभाविकसुखैकात्मने नमः। ओम स्वानुभूतिरसोदधये नमः। ओम स्वाराज्यसम्पदध्यक्षाय नमः। ओम स्वात्माराममहामतये नमः। ओम हाटकाभजटाजूटाय नमः। ओम हासोदस्तारिमण्डलाय नमः। ओम हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ओम हार्दग्रन्थिविमोचकाय नमः। ओम श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ओम श्रीदयानन्दसद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्रीमहेशानन्दसद्गुरवे नमः। So today is our day of meditation, so let's do that. तस्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वं सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयं यत्स्वप्नजागर सुषुप्तमवैति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः। अहं स्मरामि तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्गः। I recall to my mind the teaching of the fact that my nature is Brahman, Satchit Sukha Rupam, and not the changing scene that I see in front of me. I meditate upon the analogy of a movie being displayed. I meditate upon the analogy, the example of a movie being projected. In a movie, there are two essential backdrops that are both unchanging and unconnected. I meditate upon this example in a movie. There is necessary to have a screen upon which all the changes in the scenes can be superimposed. It is essential for the display of this movie. The second element in the movie is to have a light. That lights up the changes. If we just look upon the form changes in the movie, I see that the changes in form whether in black and white or in color cannot be lighted without a constant source of light. In meditation, early in the morning, I see the truth of this example of a movie in the great movie of my life designed by Ishvara. Here also there are the two factors. A constant screen, a constant backdrop upon which all of the life's changes depend upon. You cannot project a scene into nothingness. Similarly, I meditate upon the truths revealed by the Shastra, that the changes in experiences that I see are all projected upon myself as the Sat Swarupam. I am is the backdrop. Whether something else is there or not, I am. Whether there is a scene which is lighted up, whether the scene is there or not there, what shape it is in, what the nature of the experience is, for all of that, I am is needed. I am the backdrop for all experiences, unchanging and unconnected. In the movie, if there is a flood, the water of the flood requires the screen to be there, but it cannot wet the screen. There is no need to dry the screen after the flood in the movie is gone. I meditate upon the constant and the unconnected nature of myself, upon which all experiences depend upon. Aham Satswarupa. I also meditate upon the constant light which is lighting up all experiences of life. You cannot have a functional movie without a strong, constant source of light. I see that analogy for myself. I am a constant, strong source of knowledge. The entire set of experiences are lighted up by me. The experience of specific knowledge, specific ignorance, doubts, memory, lack of memory, thinking, lack of thinking, clarity, lack of clarity, intelligence, lack of intelligence, are all what my life's experiences consists of, and yet I am lighting up all of these differences and changes without any change in myself. In the form of I know. Tat Brahma Nishkalamaham Nacha Bhuta Sangaha. That Atma, that Brahman, I am Satchit Swarupaha. Sat Swarupaha in the form of a constant backdrop, and Chit Swarupaha in the form of a constant light. I am also the nature of Sukham, Ananda, which requires a different meditation. We will do that some other time. But this meditation which leads to a viveka between Atma and Anatma. The lack of viveka makes me think that I am the changes in the movie myself. But through this viveka in the form of meditation, I begin to see that that is just a delusion, Brahma, when in fact my nature is that of Satchit Swarupaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Lukarastvandikaro Vai Lukarastvam Nivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us chant 4 Karika verses, number 14, 15, 16 and 17. Number 14. Chittakala hi ye antastu Dvayakalascha ye bahihi Kalpita eva te sarve Vishesho nanya hetukaha Avyakta eva yentastu Sphuta eva che bahihi Kalpita eva te sarve Visheshastva indriyantare Jivam kalpayate purvam Tato bhavan prithak vidhan Bahyanadhyatmikans chaiva Yatha vidyas tatha smritihi Anishchita yatha rajjuhu Andhakare vikalpita Sarpadharadibhihi bhavaihi Tadvadatma vikalpitaha. So it is said that the utter confusion about ourselves in terms of who we are in reality, which is Brahman, which is Chaitanya Swarupam, and Satchit Sukham Rupam, with absolutely no connection, just like pure space. This fact is unknown to me. And due to this unknown fact, I come up with some kind of an estimation about myself, which is totally wrong. Very much like the dream, that in the dream, you do not have any idea of who you really are. Even though you are there, but you do not have any idea about your reality, and you construct a false reality, and you suffer because of that. Perhaps even enjoys because of that. It's a false enjoyment and a false suffering. There is some changes in the dream. You undergo a lot of things and so on, more than we think we do. So the dream has a reality which is forgotten when we wake up, completely forgetting. But it's very, very similar to the Jagrat Avastha. But so all of that reality is false reality, to do with who you really are. In the same way, we have a reality about ourselves which is very different from what we take ourselves to be. So this is what is called moha and andhakara. It means it's a very dark andhakara, very dark state of affairs. Not easy to. It's not just you cannot just dismiss it easily. It requires a lot of effort to convince yourself that you are in a wrong state of being. So this we should understand. So the teaching of Vedanta also starts to chip away your false identity, but it may require some thinking, some work, It's not that trivial a thing. One example of that is that supposing you find a vessel deep from the ground, perhaps from the antiquated days, and it's full of dirt, it's full of and perhaps even rocky things and all kinds of stuff. But you find through rubbing it that it is made out of some very shiny gold. So in this whole vessel, you have a small portion which is shiny gold. And so those people who are excavating it might find that in fact this is a composite vessel. And it's not as though just a little portion is made out of gold, the other portion is not made out of it. Is all gold, but not visible. So for it to be shiny, you have to really rub it. You have to work on it, fully knowing that it is gold, but it doesn't appear to be gold. This is exactly what our situation is. With the study of Vedanta, we are told, my goodness, what are you talking about? You are not just a jiva, you are really Paramatma. And at first I don't even listen to such talk, but if after a while I get glimpses of it, yes, it's very much there. But then that glimpse is now covered with a very firm conclusion. Oh, no, I don't know about these things. My daily experiences are different. I continue to struggle in my life. And just because this one class tells me that I am free and so on, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but where is it? This is the process we have to go through. In this process, so where are the impediments in this process? How does it happen that I refuse to really look into the reality? So these verses that we are studying, Karika verses, give us a hint of the kind of doubts that prevent me from seeing myself. Okay, so we now look at it. I'll point this out. So if you look at verse number 14, which we have done before, but let's revise it in view of this introduction that I just gave you. The introduction is that we are caught up in a wrong evaluation of ourselves, and it is not until we see the fallacy of my reasoning will I even get out of it. So what are the fallacy of the reasoning? So he says, Chitta kala hi yen tastu dvaya kalaschat ye bahihi kalpita eva te sarve visheshahan anya hetuka. So this we should really understand. What it means is this. Let me give you an overall picture, and then you can parse the words and so on and fit them in. What it says is, my thinking is that if I come up with some thoughts, they may not be real. But the outside reality that is imposed on me is of a different reality. So I make a distinction between my own thoughts that can be crazy. They have no reality to it. Thoughts sometimes are following reality or not following reality. It can be anything. So this is my own internal thinking. And it is confirmed that it is not real because no one else sees it. Even I don't sometimes remember what I was thinking about. There's no reality. But if I look at tables and chairs and people and so on, they have a certain reality. So my thinking is that what I internally think may not be real, But what the external reality which is imposed on me is very real. This is my idea of reality. Reality means what I have to contend with, what I have to face, what I have to participate, what are the consequences of that I live in a world where I'm at the mercy of outside forces and so on and so forth. This is what the meaning of reality is. Whereas in my own thoughts, yes, my own thoughts can also lead me into wrong directions, but I can dismiss it. So that one is not quite as real. So this is the fallacy of our thinking. This is all we all believe in. So now look at it. He says, Chitta kalahi yeyantahatu. Chitta kalaha means that one that stay only when I am thinking about it. Chitta kalaha. Antaha means those are internal thoughts. Internal thoughts are, there is a reality to my thoughts only as long as my thoughts are there. After that there is no trace of it. Dvayakalasche bahihi. Dvayakala means actually two time periods. Chittakala means one time period, Dvayakala means two time periods. And two time periods can be multiple time periods. What it means is that outside experiences stay. They have some staying power. And so therefore, this is my normal thinking, that I cannot change the outside things, so that must be real. In you, if you decide that the outside things is real, you are already going into the wrong direction. It's kind of like, you have you are in some kind of a maze and you have to get out. And really is what life is, really speaking. Life is like a three-dimensional maze. And we all try out different directions. We go in here, thinking this will give me happiness, and then after a while you find no, that is blocked off, because my happiness is terminated by the pursuit of that direction. Then I change direction and I go someplace else. And then for a while it looks like, yeah, now I can get out this way. And then as you go a little farther off, again you find that this is also blocked off. And then it's very interesting because I'm disappointed, I'm frustrated, but also hopeful that it's like being told that there is a way out. You have to figure it out. This is exactly what it is. And so it is said here that if you think that the outside things are real as different from your inside things, then that method of pursuing, you're going to get into a problem. Don't go in that direction. This is like, your guardian angel telling you how to get out of this maze. He said, please follow me. Trust me. I know this is the easy way out, but this is not going to work for you. Follow my reasoning and I will take you out. So this is what the Karika is saying. Chittakalahi ye antastu dvayakalasche bahihi kalpita evate sarve. He says both of them are not real. Not that one of them is unreal, the other one is real. You see the reasoning? You are saying that the way of differentiating unreality from reality is inside outside. Outside things are real, inside things are not real. So we say no. It's the wrong direction to go. Why? Kalpitaha eva te sarve visheshaha na anya hetukaha. He says that other than the fact that they are both kalpitaha. Kalpitaha means that they are mithya. And mithya how? And so, we'll revise that just in 1 second. But other than the fact that they are both mithya, there is no other mitigating factor which will distinguish whether they are real or not. See, that's the meaning of this sentence. Visheshaha na anya hetukaha means there is no other vishesha other than kalpitaha evate sarve. So kalpitaha means mithya. Mithya means we cannot make up our own rules on what is reality, what is not reality. The only rule is if it changes, it is mithya. If it goes away, it is not true. That is the final rule you have to, that's the filter you have to use. Am I ever changing? Well, because of Brahma, I think I'm changing, but really you are not changing. So therefore you must be Satyam. And is this thing real? It appears real. We didn't say anything about appearing real. We're saying, is this really real or not? Use this filter. Is it going to disappear at some point in time or not? It may take a longer time or a shorter time. Doesn't matter. You cannot say that the longer time, things staying for a long time are real, things staying for a short time are not real. That is not the right. This was, I think, one of my favorite examples of this. And I am not sure whether I came up with this or not. It's very possible I might have come. I don't come up with any original things very often because they're all there from the acharyas. But somehow I have a feeling that I might have come up with this. I'm not sure. I think that Swamiji must have told me, and I have sort of somehow forgotten that he told me. Anyway, this is my favorite example. And that is, there are different kind of false jewelries. Costume jewelry. Okay? There is one kind that is so easy to recognize that it is false. Why? Because it is very cheaply made and it's very light. It's kind of like plastic or something like this. And you can just rub it and you can get it for like 5 cents. And the kids can, they're given all these free at some kind of a show or something like this. And you rub it a little bit and you find that this golden thing on the top goes away and some metal from inside, which is dark looking, comes up. This is false. Okay. The other one is a fine costume jewelry, which is made up of some heavy metal, and the gold that is put on is not easily done. And these things cost quite a bit of money. But they are still false. I remember this example. There was a show in, a shop in Union Square. This is like 25 years ago. This is what my example was. And my wife and I were just visiting. And she was showing me, look at this beautiful jewelry. And the jewelry was all, like these necklaces. Necklace was about $75. It looked real to me. And, so rings and so on, they're all in the range of about 25, 50. They were that expensive. But they are still false. This is the example. So internal thoughts are like a very cheap jewelry. The chittakala means they are easily recognized not to be real. Outside things are a well-made costume jewelry. But the fact that it is well made or it is not well made is not the reason to understand whether it is pure gold or not. Doesn't matter. It fools you. It just fools you. So therefore, it says, please don't be fooled by the apparent reality of the things outside. If you want to wake up, you have to pursue this thinking. Don't just say, well, I don't know what else to do. This is outside experiences are real. They're not. Follow through with it and you'll find that they frighten you, but they are also not really true at all. They will also go. Just like things can frighten you in a dream, but once you wake up, you laugh about it. This is exactly what is going to happen to you. So follow this reasoning. So this is what is being said here. And then this is further sketched out in number 15. Similarly, it's a confirmation of number 14. Avyakta eva ye antastu sphuta eva cha ye bahihi kalpita eva te sarve visheshastu atindriyantare. Similarly, so he says that avyakta eva te antastu, that your internal thoughts are not clearly visible to you. They're not very clear. They are just like, supposing you have to, supposing you're asked to describe something that you saw. That description of something that you saw may be fairly accurate, but not as accurate as you are seeing it right in front of you. So exactly the same distinction. You think the thoughts are not that clear, not as variegated, not as specific as things that are outside of you. Sphuta. Sphuta means very clear. Avyakta eva te antaha, sphuta eva che bahi. Either one. Kalpitaha eva sarve. So this will come later on, where you'll say that even outside things are your thoughts that appear to be clear. That's a good way to look at it. Outside things, when finally analyzed, simply mean they are your thoughts in the form of clarity. How? Because the outside things are supported by your indriyas, your sense organs. And the sense organs, very sophisticated set of instruments created by Ishvara, 5 of them, to couple with the 5 equivalent objects that they are matched with. So outside things need to have forms, so an eye is manufactured to be able to do that. So this coupling of things, one is what is outside and what is inside. Both of them make things very clear. And so your mind also, you see, so in the case of Just look at this. So in the case of your internal thoughts, your indriyas are not helpful. The mind is on its own. It is based on memory. It's based on projection. And it's powerful, but it is not very specific, not very clear. But when the same mind is being helped by its flock of helpers, I think there was in Tattva Bodha or somewhere, and Swami Dayanandji had given this very beautiful example. He said, the mind is like the dispatcher in a taxi service. So the dispatcher in a taxi service, supposing a call comes in and says, I need a taxi. So this is a central office, there's 2 or 3 people sitting there with their headphones on and say, okay, but where are you? They say, we are in such and such place, we need a taxi. Now, this dispatcher has a lot of taxis that are going around that they should be aware of. They should be aware of that there is a certain taxi which is closest to this point where this fellow wants to go. If they have that knowledge, they can be very specific. They'll say, I'll come there within 5 minutes. Supposing the taxis, for some reason, their phones are not working, and the dispatcher's phones are also not working with the taxis. He just gets the inputs from customers saying, I want to be at a certain place. But he has no idea about where taxis are. How specific can he be? He says, I don't know. I think we can get it to there, but can you hang on? I have to get to my taxis. So the indriyas are like taxis. And the mind is like a dispatcher. And the mind says, what do you see? He says, well, I see a flower. Should we buy it? So the mind says, are you sure is it a paper flower? Is it a real flower? He says, I don't know, it looks like a real flower. He says, get your other person to help you out. The sense of touch. So the sense of touch goes there and he says, nope, it's not cold, it's very paper-like. So the other one says, well, I tried my best, I guess you're right. So the mind is now getting inputs from all these sense organs and making up a decision. No, this is not a real flower, this is just a fake flower, I cannot buy this. So this is the distinction that occurs. But in all cases, as we will see more and more clearly, the outside is really inside. As the first verse of the Dakshinamurti says, Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. There is nothing outside. Everything is just inside. And this is how we have to slowly come to this is a completely different vision than the one that I am grasping. So this is exactly the thing. My andhakara means that I have a very particular vision of where I am. I am this at this point, things are outside, this is duality, this is multiplicity. And the Advaita view is, this is just a starting point. You are making a distinction between yourself and others on false grounds. On false grounds. Meaning, you are not taking into account who you really are. You are not taking into account who is really Satyam and what is really Mithya. You are not doing that. If you do that, if you do that, if you follow the tenets of this teaching, what you will see is that even you, the seer of this so-called seer of this reality, which is the jiva, itself is false. Your identity is being misplaced into something which is not true. Exactly like a teaching to a wave of the ocean is. The wave of the ocean, a particular wave says, listen, this is who I am. I have a particular shape, a certain way of looking at it. You know, it's interesting. I think Swami Maheshanji had given this example, and I like this. He says, a wave is a little bit more difficult to visualize because it is moving so quickly. It disappears quickly. But look at a piece of ice in the motion. Kind of like a huge, what is it called? The one that breaks off. Iceberg, yes. So like a big iceberg in the ocean, which is steady. And it maintains its shape for a while. I think the jiva is a little closer to that. So this iceberg is saying, I'm isolated from the rest of the ocean, and I'm melting. And I am not happy. The iceberg is told, listen, wait a second. This is just a play. You should be happy that you are being shown in a big blob like this, but you are really nothing but the rest of the ocean. It's the same. So he says, no, that's not clear to me. What are you talking about? The ocean is there, all the other icebergs are broken, they're all separate from me. No, this is not true. That's exactly our situation. So if you look at our reality from the standpoint that my identity is with me as an iceberg, and all the other people look like other pieces of icebergs. And we are told your identity is misplaced. If your identity is with the ocean water, which is what your reality is, your vision of the rest of the ocean will be totally different. How will it be different? Your vision of yourself as an iceberg is also false. False meaning that it has some reality, but it's not going to last. It is mithya. It is kalpita. It will go. If you are searching for truth, reality, permanence, and so on, see yourself differently. I'm not saying you will be, you are already. That you are the water. If you see that, even though it might take you a little while you have to meditate on it. But if you see that, then the whole thing changes. Why? Because your own status as an iceberg is also kalpita. And all the other icebergs around you are also kalpita. The only thing which is non-kalpita is your content, which is the water. This is what you have to say. So this is number 15. Number 15. Says, avyakta eva ye antaha. Whether they are avyakta or they are sputa, doesn't make any difference. Kalpitaha eva te sarve. Visheshahastu ati indriyantare. Visheshahastu indriyantare. Indriyantare means it's a dual case. either through Indra, Indriya, or through Antara, just by your own thinking or with the help of the Indriyas. That makes us distinction between them. But that's not the real distinction. The real distinction is asatyam and mithya, atma, anatma. Not whether they are, so the duality of these other icebergs moving around is not a real duality. You are hung up on that duality, that I see a lot of them. Yeah, you will see them. Here we find that there is a distinction between experience and knowledge. Big difference between them. Why? Because the experiences can violate knowledge. If it is true knowledge, it can continue to violate knowledge and yet needs to be discarded. The example is that of the rising sun. When the child understands that really the sun never rises, it is just the rotation of the earth that makes it look like it is rising. And then I'm not sure how the children will see that, wow, really? That is amazing. I know at some point in time, I don't know which grade these things are taught, where you're taught that the sun is here and then the earth moves around it in a different way. And because of that, nights and day come about. The light is there all the time, but just appears to be, I don't know, I don't remember how it happened when we were all young. Anyway, it happens. After it happens, do you think that the experience of the rising sun changes? So the truth that the sun doesn't rise is not truly violated by the experience that it is not true. So the fact that you have duality in the world means that once you understand that this is not dual, it is dual from the way I'm looking at it, but really I'm not looking at it from the standpoint of the truth of the Atma. From that standpoint, there is no duality. But do you think that the experiences will just go away? No. You'll still transact with people and feel happy and so on and so forth. But deep down below, you know that it is not true. And, Swami Paramarthananda was saying that sometimes the Advaita Vedanta is under great criticism by the others, even including Vishishta Advaita, and certainly Dvaitas. All the other viewpoints are all Dvaitas. They say, these people don't believe in them. They keep talking about Advaita, Advaita, Advaita. And yet, who is teaching Advaita? He's teaching it to some students. Are they different from him? How can he teach them if they are not different from him? In fact, in verse number 8 of the Dakshinamurti Stotram, we will look into this point, where it says, Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya Sa Swami Sambandhataha Shishyacharya Pitraputratyatmana, etc. We'll look at this point. So we say, you don't understand. It's not what Advaita is, not the experience of Advaita, but the knowledge behind the experience. And that knowledge will come if you probe a little bit more. If you just accept it with the way they are, then, so this is what is called Prakrita Buddhi. Prakrita Buddhi means we are born with it. We are born with this false, the very reason we are born You see, that's the thing. It's not as though once you're born as a human being, then you have ignorance given to you. No. The very reason we are born is because of the ignorance. Because we want to actualize who we are real. Every birth is an attempt to understand. And for a while we are prakrita buddhi. Prakrita buddhi means it is uneducated. So we are born into ignorance. And the way the ignorance solidifies our mistakes is through this. Antakalahi, chittakalahi antaha, bahishkalaha, dvayakala bahihi. This is what reality is. This is not. And so we are now, then we can solidify it even more. We can get into details. This is what science says. This is what that says. Everything is false. The real filter for Satyam is, does it change at all? If it changes, we have to examine what is the truth behind the change. And ultimately, if you keep following this is how you get out of this maze. You follow this, the kind of light, you follow this light. And if you keep doing it, even though, you're coming out of this maze and somebody says, I know I've noticed you've been, it is kind of like, you get into this maze and there is a maze caretaker. And in general, people can come out within 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You've been doing this for the last 24 hours. So this caretaker says, I'm sorry that you're having trouble getting out of this maze, but follow my direction. I know this play is over. You must be getting frustrated. Yes, I'm getting very frustrated. I didn't bring enough food with me. I am very hungry. I want to get out of this. Okay, follow this. Follow my guidance. And I'll get you out. In the beginning, it maybe seem like you're going in the wrong direction, but eventually I'll get you out. That light is Atma Anatma Viveka. We have to follow that. And if we do, then all of these objections that my own mind has and others have will go away. So that's the meaning of these verses. Let's see if Swami Maheshananji had made some points. I have to look at. And this is summarizing it. There's a lot of detail behind all of that. So Swami Maheshanji gives a lot of examples. He says, these indriyas, how the indriyas can give you clarity. But it turns out it's wrong clarity, but it gives you clarity. So he says the same thing is, like for example, supposing you have enhanced your indriyas with the help of microscope. You can see things that you cannot see. So right now, in fact this is a fact, this is a wonderful fact, Ishvara has given us the ability not to see the microbes crawling on our skin. It's wonderful. Apohanancha, in the 15th chapter, he says, I'm very happy. In fact, this is the thing, in our life there are so many insults we have had. And our best form is to forget them. If we cannot forget, and some people don't, even the smallest insult they do not forget. And so this is wonderful that you don't have to be that clear about everything. Similarly, if you ever happen to look at your own hand under a microscope, I don't know, this will be a strange situation. You want to get out of it, but you cannot get out of it. This is your own body. So he says that the nature of indriyas is that it gives you a certain detail which is very sputa, very, very clear. And you feel this is the right one. And in fact, this is exactly what it is. If you look at any solid object, like a metal piece, and you look it through some very high isotope, I'm just using some scientific words that I don't even know what I'm doing, but some kind of an instrument, you will see that the 99% of the solidity is false. It's all space between the metallic atoms. And it is not that what we think as being solid is not solid. In fact, why my hand cannot go through that is because of magnetic forces. They will repel each other. They won't allow it. But otherwise, my hand is also 99% space, and the table is also 99% space. They should be able to go right through. But it doesn't. This is the play of Ishvara's thinking. And so he says that's the difference between indriya and non-indriya. Just some other things. He again makes the same point which was there before, that this distinction, and an important point really, there's something we should remember, because I think that one of the unique contributions of the Mandukyaupanishad is that after all the study, because Mandukyaupanishad should be studied quite late in your study. It's an advanced Upanishad. The reason it is an advanced Upanishad is because after the study of all the other things, what it boils down to in a very concentrated form is the analysis of Swapna and Jagrat, and seeing the similarity of the two. And the more I see that, because this is what happens, initially I just dismiss it. Oh, this is just dream, has nothing to do with me. It's not true. I should see the falsification of both states with respect to each other. When I'm dreaming, then my Jagrat Avastha is gone. And when I'm in my Jagrat Avastha, Swapna Avastha is gone. So they are mutually exclusive. And as a result of that, I have to study both of them and study their similarity. This is a very important thing for us as an advanced one. We may not be ready for it. That's a different thing altogether. In our own teaching of Vedanta, it may be that you haven't really, and even I may not have done all of the requirements to understand it. But the end point is, they say that in Mandukyaupanishad is the only one that is very evolved sannyasi should think about. Is the Swapnavastha, the Omkara itself, the very nature of Turiya and the Omkara is what we need to think about. And so anyway, going back to it, the similarity between Sapna and Jagrat is very crucial in our finding the way out of the maze. So here, Swami Maheshananji again makes a point in the end of the commentary on verse 15. He says, in Hindi he says, स्वप्न में भी तो आँख खोल कर देखो तो साफ, और मन से सोची चीज़ अस्फुट लगती है. So what he's saying is that even in a dream, this we have done before, he's just summarizing it again. Even in a dream, this distinction between clarity and non-clarity is there. Inside and outside is there. So to hang your entire thinking about inside and outside is wrong. Because the inside and outside is there in swapna, and the swapna is kalpita, gone. Similarly, you have inside, outside in the Jagrat Avastha, and that also will be kalpita. That it is already kalpita, and you should see it as kalpita. This is the reasoning. Beautiful. See, so then verse 16 is given. Jivam kalpayate purvam tatah bhavan pritak vidhan bahya anadhyatmikam chaiva yatha vidyah tatha smriti. So let's just look at the word meanings of 16, and then we will see the understanding of it. So, Swami Paramarthananda has added the word Atma. So, Atma kalpayate jivam. So, first the jiva is imagined. Kalpayate means constructed through the mind, imagined. So, the Atma, first thing it does is to construct the idea of a jiva. Then tataha pritak vidhan bhavan bahyan cha eva adhyatmikan kalpayate. You can add kalpayate means first you come up with the idea of a jiva. Thereafter all the experiences of the jiva naturally follow. And then this yatha vidyah tatha smriti is a different, it is a completely different concept, which we'll do that later on. But let's just look at the first part of it. So here, introducing this verse, Swami Maheshananji says, it has now been established that clarity and non-clarity is not a valid reason for understanding reality. This we have already done. That both can be imagined. Whether or not you're imagining it or you're not, there's no reason to imagine it, that is the real difference. So he says that has been done. He says, now the question is, this imagining thing, how does it happen? This is his introduction to number 16. अब ये कल्पना किस द्वार से होती है? How does the kalpana takes place? This is being explained. So there it says. And so all of Vedanta is very clearly that the very first thing that happens is that I am an individual. And by the way, it never took place. It never took place in a particular time. This is just a way of saying it. Why? Because ignorance is timeless. It has, I wouldn't say it is timeless. It has no beginning, but it has an end. Ignorance has no beginning, but it has an end. But it has no beginning. So it is not proper to say, when did I make this mistake that I am a jiva? You were always thinking that you are a jiva. You are anadi. Maya is also anadi, ignorance is also anadi, but it has an end. Atma, on the other hand, Brahman Atma, Turiya, whatever you may call it, Chaitanya Swarupaha, has no relevance to time. You cannot say is it timeless, you cannot say when is it going to end, there is no relevance at all. Time is actually one of the manifestations of Brahman. So the jivatvam, that I am a jiva, is, even though it is beginningless, but from the standpoint of understanding how my mistake takes place, it is good to see what is the sequence that happens. Even though it is, you cannot say when did this begin, because it is beginningless. The nature of avidya is that it is beginningless. Like, I think Swami Dayanandji had given this example, that supposing, he's teaching a class and Swamiji's own brother comes in. Swamiji had brothers, one of them is, I think at least one of them is still alive. So he's just supposing that person comes in. And so you motion to his brother to please come and sit. And then he introduces his brother. Swami Dayanandji says, I just want to introduce my brother from Chennai. He's here, from Tamil Nadu. He's sitting here. Now the question is, when did you know? How come? People will say, you know what, I didn't know he was your brother. He might have been walking around in the ashram for a while, but he didn't know that he's Swamiji's brother. So the question is, when did I not know that he is Swamiji's brother? No beginning. That he finds out that this is Swamiji's brother, which is the end to the ignorance, has a particular time. But the fact that he doesn't know that he is Swamiji's brother has no beginning. So therefore, ignorance is beginningless. Anyway, the sequence that happens is, the first thing is that you feel I am an individual. I am an individual. This is the thought. This is called ahankara. I am an individual. So when a baby is also born, it's very interesting. The baby is born, even though the baby doesn't know much about himself or herself, doesn't know who am I, who's my mother, who's my father, what am I doing here, what color am I, where was I born. All it says is some thought is there, I am. And by the way, when you wake up from a sleep every morning, the first thought that comes to you is, I am. What you are and what you have to do comes later. So in terms of sequencing, the fact that I am a jiva comes first. This is exactly what number 16 is saying. Jivam kalpayate purvam. So you first imagine that I am a jiva. Now you cannot just stay there. Okay, I'm a jiva. Jiva means what? Then it gets filled in. Then you have to look at early in the morning also, your thoughts will come, I'm a jiva. Then you realize, oh my goodness, wrinkles are coming in. So you take the body's things onto yourself. Now I am 60 years of age. Yes, I'm losing my, you put your hand in there, you find I'm losing my hair, or they're turning gray. All those kinds of details then coming. Then you immediately say, what day is it? What am I supposed to do today? Oh my goodness, it's Monday, I have to go to office. Oh, I have to pick up my children. I have to do this. All those kinds of things then get added on to the jivatva. So that's exactly what number 16 is saying. It says, Jivam kalpayate purvam tataha bhavan prithak vidhan bahyan admikanscha eva. The other kinds of things that come in, your relationships, mamakara, and adhyatmikan means your own ideas, insight, your own body, in fact, and your own mind, and your thoughts, your memories. Where was I yesterday? Oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Okay, this is what I have to do today. Bahyan and adhyatmikan. All these things happen. And it's a very natural one. You don't have to do anything specifically to it. Here there was a very beautiful example given by so many acharyas. I forget which one I had heard it from. So there was this military officer. And, so these, he was a well-decorated military officer. They look at their chest, there's got all these medals. So one line of medals will have about 6, 7. Then the next line, there's like 3 or 4, whatever their tall chest can do. So somebody asked him, he said, "Sir, this is very impressive. You've got 20 medals. How did you get 20 medals? You don't even look that old. You're only like 50 years of age. How did you get it?" He says, there's a story behind it. He says, what happens is that I took a risk in this Pakistani war, and I killed the enemies and I saved a lot of people. So therefore I was given Paramavira Chakra or something like this. I forget the exact name. So I was given this Medal of Honor by the President of India. You see this big one over here? That's what I was given. He says, once I was given that, then all these other smaller army outfits, they said, we want to honor him also. You please come to our function. So he gets another small one. And then the third one says, how come he hasn't come to ours? This is a very, this is like this, what's his name? The Abhinandan, who saved the, he was prisoner of Pakistani. This is exactly what is happening to him. Now his entire company has become very famous, his own squadron. And they've got special patches with them. This is exactly what it says. This is what happens, that once you become a jiva, then you start to attract all these other things. This is what happens. You are born as a baby, then your grandparents start to offer money to this person. Then the schooling, which school they should go to, is being thought about. All kinds of things happen on top of that. So he says that this kalpana, this imagination, this is exactly how it happens. So jivam kalpayate purvam tato bhavan prithak. And one of the most damaging and imprisoning outcome of this is the very firm conviction, I am a karta and a bhokta. I am a doer and sufferer. Firm. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I have to decide what to do. I've got to do this. I have to turn left. I have to turn right. I have to come to the class. And I have certain consequences. Ultimately, even this is not true. It is exactly like in a dream you are saying, I have to do some things, very important. You have nothing to do with it. You are just imposing. It is like a drama. That I am a karta, I am a bhokta is also a drama. It's also a kalpana. But this kalpana is what really ties you to this jiva and ties you where you cannot get out. The ultimate thinking, I am a kartritvam and bhoktritvam. And they say that with a jivan mukta, this feeling will be gone. You will do it as an experience. Whatever happens, happens. But the fact that I am responsible for my own future and I've got to do this and I've got so many people depending on me and so on, all that will go. Things will happen and the fact that my whole identity depends upon that will no longer be there. So anyway, so this is Swami Maheshananji gave the similar example about that military officer. He says sometimes you find these people, they are completely uneducated and they win an election. So they become an MP. Now then, all these universities give them honorary degrees. Sir, please come. Why? Because they get some money out of it and so on and so forth. This is exactly what happens. The jiva has no real identity. But once you, somehow or the other, you win the election of that identity, everything gets glommed onto you. Anyway, so this is how the teaching of Karika goes into the depth of this understanding. Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyat Dukha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah Hari Om. Questions? Yeah.
So when we say knowledge is the empowerment, and at some point these mistakes, these doubts will go away because we have gained knowledge, and the process may take several lifetimes. So then how do we understand that the knowledge is continuing within the person that was born and becomes another person in another life? Or I'm confused
So
about the
there's a
continuity
question,
factor
yeah.
of progression.
Archana has a question that if this knowledge needs to be fully assimilated, it might take more than one life. And so how does one maintain this knowledge from one life to the other in case it is not culminated in one life? That's
Right, because we say everything here is false, it's ephemeral. So if it's not going to go away, what is continuing?
no, that, so there you are asking two separate questions. I don't know which one is more important to you. So one is, now you said that something continues. What is that? And the other one is, what if I do not culminate this knowledge in this life? How will I be connected to it in my next life, right? So I think that what it means is that we should understand the the teaching on this. So what happens is that we are the Satchit Swarupa Atma as the truth. Doesn't matter, it has nothing to do with one life or the other. Everything is nothing but Satchidananda. Everything. Even a kida, small insect also, it's Satchidananda. So everything is kind of like everything is nothing but the water in the ocean. So that should answer one question, which is that you will continue to be the same in the next life. You will be someone. You will be there. You're not disappearing, because water cannot disappear. Waves can disappear, but water cannot disappear. So you as a Satchidananda will never disappear, because that is you. Okay, so this is one thing. Then the second thing is that if as a student I am running out of time to really know this fact, and I have to take up another life, which is a possibility, then what will connect me to my next life, right? So for there we say that the jiva continues with the help of the Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira is really the essence of the jiva. When you say what is jiva, jiva means my subtle body is the definition of jiva. And that subtle body, meaning your mind, your tendencies, your forgiveness, your all those kinds of things, will continue on while you take up another solid body. So the Sukshma Sharira will continue on, and because the solid body just could not service you anymore, because it is meant for only 80, 100 years, then you have to take up another one. But your Sukshma Sharira continues. How long does the Sukshma Sharira continue? So Sukshma Sharira means what? Sukshma Sharira means, in the analogy of the ocean, I'm a wave. The feeling that I'm a wave. Now, the feeling that I'm a wave, so there's a difference. In the case of ocean, there is, obviously it's a constructed example. But in the case of the ocean, there is no such thing as a Sukshma Sharira. But in life, we have a Sukshma Sharira which continues to power me as a separate individual. When that Sukshma Sharira realizes, oh my God, what a mistake I'm making. I am the whole ocean, not just this one wave. Then it is not reborn. Then there is no need for the Sukshma Sharira to be there, no need for it to take another solid body. It is already the whole ocean.
So the collective knowledge is being accumulated within this progression of the Sukshma Sharira?
Correct. So now that if you say that the Sukshma Sharira continues, the question is, specifically, what will the Sukshma Sharira contain? See, because here our Sukshma Sharira is getting educated. We are getting some ideas about where are the mistakes being made, what is my truth, and so on. And we are also studying some books and so on and so forth. All of that is being given. Now the question is, if we die and we haven't really quite figured it out yet, what happens to all this knowledge? I've spent a lot of time studying Sanskrit, I've studied this, that, or the other. So there, we don't know, but according to the Shastra, all consistent in the Gita also, and so on and so forth. Don't worry about it, we'll never forget where you are. We'll take care of you. Don't even think about it. You think this is a joke? No, it's not a joke. Why? Because karma and karma phala are incontrovertible. They are all connected together. And we don't know what the language will be and how it will be. Don't worry about it. But your accomplishments as a student, really truly accomplishments as a person, are all connected to your next life. And there's a lot of details given to it. That you will be born in such a situation where your study will flower, and all of that will be taken care of. Yeah. Okay, very good. Let's see you next week.
Just an announcement, there are some books if anybody wants to have a look.
Yeah, there are some books here that you can.
There's some booklets here.
Some old booklets. You are welcome to take a look at them.
Thank you.
They're free, all of them are different books.
Swami Dayananda books about self-knowledge, these kind of things. Come and have a look. Pass it around. Have a look. There are plenty more here.
Lots of different ones. They're different ones. Yeah. We had all that and we used to give out to Yeah, the same one, that's right. Someone in the phone. Check it out.
Hi, Rani.
So I exchanged some messages with Petros, and it looks like 50 is the maximum they'll be able to accommodate. So I think we should not open it up that we could add on. Because what will happen is, Kalpana, I want to stop that between the artists and the volunteers. The volunteers might have some guests, we can have guests. Sujita has guests, most of the time. Maybe about on the 29th at May, for us in the afternoon to go and visit the rest of the and I'm still working on finding.
So who else is doing this?
Kalpana and Bharat
Kaman is very
would
good.
like to come with me.
Okay.
And they're
So then, but I'll see maybe Joel.
But 50, not 80.
Yeah.